George Bush Intercontinental Airport, is a Class B international airport in Houston, Texas, serving the greater Houston metropolitan area, the fifth largest metropolitan area in the United States. Located about 23 miles north of downtown Houston, between Interstate 45 and Interstate 69/US Highway 59, George Bush Intercontinental Airport has scheduled flights to domestic and international destinations. The airport is named after George H. W. Bush, the 41st President of the United States. George Bush Intercontinental Airport served 40,187,442 passengers in 2011, making the airport the 10th busiest for total passengers in North America. In 2006, the airport was named the fastest growing of the top 10 airports in the United States by the United States Department of Transportation. Houston Bush Intercontinental is the largest passenger-carrying hub for United Airlines, carrying 16.6 million passengers annually with an average of 45,413 passengers daily. The airport also serves as focus city for Spirit Airlines. History: the site for Bush Intercontinental Airport was originally purchased by a group of Houston businessmen in 1957 to preserve the site until the city of Houston could formulate a plan for a second airport, supplanting what was then known as Houston Municipal Airport. The holding company for the land was named the Jet-Era Ranch Corporation, but a typographical error transformed the words Jet-Era into Jetero, and the airport site subsequently became known as the Jetero Airport Site. Although the name Jetero was no longer used in official planning documents after 1961, the eastern entrance to the airport was named Jetero Boulevard. Most of Jetero Boulevard was subsequently renamed Will Clayton Parkway. The city of Houston annexed the Bush Airport area in 1965. This annexation, along with the 1965 annexations of the Bayport area, the Fondren Road area, and an area west of Sharpstown, resulted in a total gain of 51,251 acres of land for the city limits. Houston Intercontinental Airport, as it was originally known, opened in June 1969. All passenger traffic from William P. Hobby Airport moved to Intercontinental upon the airport's completion. Hobby remained open as a general aviation airport and reopened 2 years later when Southwest Airlines initiated domestic services. Houston Intercontinental had been scheduled to open in 1967, but design changes regarding the terminals created cost overruns and construction delays. The prime contractor, RF Ball Construction of San Antonio, sued the city of Houston for $11 million in damages, but Assistant City Attorney Joseph Guy Rollins, Jr. successfully defended the municipality on appeal to the Texas Supreme Court. In the late 1980s, Houston City Council considered a plan to rename the airport after Mickey Leland, an African-American congressman who died in an aviation accident in Ethiopia. Instead of renaming the whole airport, the city named Mickey Leland International Arrivals Building, which would later become Mickey Leland Terminal D, after the congressman. In April 1997, Houston City Council unanimously voted to rename the airport George Bush Intercontinental Airport Houston, after George H. W. Bush, the 41st President of the United States. On August 28, 1990, Continental Airlines agreed to build its maintenance center at George Bush Intercontinental Airport. Continental agreed to do so because the city of Houston agreed to provide city-owned land near the airport so that Continental could build its maintenance facility there. As of 2007, Terminals A and B remain from the original design of the airport. Louis W. Kutra Terminal C opened in 1981, the Mickey Leland International Arrivals Building opened in May 1990, and the new Terminal E partially opened on June 3, 2003. The rest of Terminal E opened on January 7, 2004. Terminal D is the arrival point for all international flights arriving into Houston except for flights operated by United Airlines, which uses Terminal E. Terminal D also held customs and INS until the opening of the new Federal Inspection Service building, completed on January 25, 2005. On January 7, 2009, a Continental Airlines Boeing 737-800 departing Bush Intercontinental was the first U.S. commercial jet to fly on a mix of conventional jet fuel and biofuel. In December 2009, the Houston City Council approved a plan to allow Midway COS to develop 10 acres of land owned by Houston Airport System on the grounds of Bush Airport. Midway plans to develop a travel center for the airport's rental car facility. The city dictated that the developer needed to place a convenience store and gas station facility, a flight information board, a fast casual restaurant, and a sit-down restaurant. Beyond the required buildings, the developer plans to add an office facility between 20,000 and 40,000 square feet and additional retail. The developer may add a hotel. In 2011, Continental Airlines began service to Lagos. This was the airport's first non-stop flight to Africa. The airline was also planning to commence service to Auckland, New Zealand, but plans for the Auckland service were cancelled because of new international flights at Hobby Airport. United Airlines Euro, which acquired Continental and had fully integrated it into the United brand by early 2012, Euro had postponed the introduction of this service owing to delays associated with the Boeing 787, but still hasn't begun the service with 787 Dreamliners currently in its fleet. Its 787s have been put to use on other international routes, however, including Houston-London and United's new Houston-Lagos flights. In 2014, United Airlines added a second daily flight to Tokyo, new routes to Munich, Germany, Santiago, Chile and Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, and restarted the Aruba route. Houston became the sixth U.S. city to have Airbus A380 service when Lufthansa transitioned its Houston-Frankfurt route from a 747-400 to an A380 service on August 1, 2012. On July 11, 2013, Air China began non-stop flights from Houston to Beijing, China using a Boeing 777-300ER. This is the airport's first non-stop route to mainland China. Houston also gained non-stop flights to Turkey when Turkish Airlines launched non-stop service to Istanbul on April 1, 2013. Korean Air commenced non-stop flights from Seoul to Houston on May 2, 2014. Among other continental Asia destinations, Singapore Airlines offers non-stop service between Houston and Moscow, continuing on from there to Singapore. Qatar Airways flies a non-stop Houston-Doha route. And Emirates flies non-stop from Houston to Dubai. On March 31, 2014, Scandinavian Airlines announced that it will begin flights from Stavanger to Houston. This is the first time the airline has opened a route from its non-hub cities. The aircraft will be a lease 737 BBJ-1 from Privatair. The aircraft will operate in SAS colors, in a 44-seat all-business configuration. On April 24, 2014, Spirit Airlines announced new services from Houston to 6 new domestic destinations, including Atlanta, Fort Lauderdale, Kansas City, New Orleans and San Diego. In addition, Spirit added seasonal service between Houston and Minneapolis. These new flights bring their total destinations from Houston to 12 locations, which makes Spirit the second-largest domestic airline by destinations at Houston's IAH, behind United Airlines. On June 19, 2014, Emirates Airlines announced that it would become the second operator of the Airbus A380 at Intercontinental Airport, upgrading its service from Dubai to Houston from Boeing 777 to the Super Jumbo A380. Service is expected to begin on December 3, 2014. Operations. George Bush Intercontinental Airport served 40,187,442 passengers in 2011, making the airport the 10th busiest for total passengers in North America. IAH is the 7th largest international passenger gateway in the U.S. and the 7th busiest airport in the world for total aircraft movements. In 2006, the United States Department of Transportation named George Bush Intercontinental Airport the fastest-growing of the top 10 airports in the United States. The Houston Airport System states that the airport's service area includes the following: Greater Houston counties, Brazoria, Chambers, Fort Bend, Galveston, Harris, Liberty, Montgomery, and Waller. The airport currently ranks fourth in the United States for non-stop domestic and international service with 182 destinations, and about 45% of the airport's passengers begin or terminate their journey at the airport. Bush Intercontinental ranks first among the major United States airports with the highest on-time performance, according to a 2010 United States Department of Transportation report. As of 2007, with 31 destinations in Mexico, the airport offers service to more Mexican destinations than any other United States airport. The Houston Air Route Traffic Control Center, located on the airport grounds at 16,600 JFK Boulevard, serves as the region's ARTCC. The IATA administrative offices are also on the airport property. Terminals, airlines and destinations. There are three main entrances into IAH's terminal areas. John F. Kennedy Boulevard is the main north-south artery into the airport and intersects with Greens Road, becoming an expressway leading to the terminals. Will Clayton Parkway, which runs east to west, is another main road for IAH. Interstate 69/US. Highway 59 is connected to IAH by Will Clayton Parkway. The Hardy Tollway connector runs from west to east, connecting JFK Boulevard to the Hardy Toll Road. Terminals. The airport has a total of 5 terminals encompassing 250 acres, with a 1.5-mile distance from Terminal A to Terminal D. Terminal A. Terminal A was one of the original 2 terminals to open in 1969 and was designed by Goldman and Rolfe and George Pierce Appleby Pierce. Like Terminal B, it originally had 4 circular modules at the end of corridors radiating out of the corners of the terminal. However, in the late 1990s and early 2000s, the north and south concourses were rebuilt into linear facilities which provide a smoother operation within the terminal. The project was completed in 2002 and was designed by Gensler. Terminal A has 20 gates, with 10 gates in the north concourse and 10 gates in the south concourse. Today the terminal handles all non-United domestic and Canada operations and some United Express operations. The food court areas are in the center of each concourse, near the departure gates. A small United Club is found in the north concourse. Terminal B. Terminal B was also one of the original 2 terminals of the airport to open in 1969 and was also designed by Goldman and Rolfe and George Pierce Appleby Pierce. It is mostly an unaltered terminal from its original design and is now used solely by United Express commuter flights. For this reason, the jet bridges are considerably lower to the ground than most others. There are 37 gates and 20 hardstand gates. The terminal serves all United Express operations except for international arrivals. The terminal underwent minor renovations from 1997 to 2001, designed by Gensler. In 2011 the City of Houston announced that it would demolish the gate areas of Terminal B and rebuild them. The architect for the project is Pierce, Goodwin, Alexander and Linville. The first phase of the terminal's renovation broke ground on January 23, 2012. Phase 1 of the project was completed in April 2013, and the first 15 gates of the new South Concourse opened for operations on May 21, 2013. Terminal C. Terminal C was the third terminal to open at the airport following A and B in 1981. It was designed by the Houston firm of Airport Architects, a joint venture of Goldman and Rolfe Architects and Pierce Architects. It serves as United Airlines' main base of domestic operations. The airline operate 2 United Clubs in the terminal, by Gate C33 in the South Concourse and by Gate C24 in the North Concourse. Terminal C has 31 gates. The terminal includes the airport's Interfaith Chapel. The terminal underwent renovations from 2000 to 2005 and was designed by Gensler. Terminal D. Terminal D opened in 1990 as the International Arrivals Building and was later renamed the Mickey Leland International Arrivals Building. The $95 million terminal was designed by Goldman and Rolfe Architects, Pierce Goodwin Alexander, James L. Marshall Associates, and Molina and Associates. The IAB, equipped with a federal inspection facility and U.S. Customs Services, consolidated all international arrivals into one terminal. Since the opening of Terminal EFIS, Terminal D now houses all non-United international flights except for United Express international arrivals. In Terminal D, airlines share gates, ticket counters, and terminal equipment, making it a common-use facility. It is the first common-use facility to be established in the United States. The Terminal D food court is located in the departures area. In 2007, the Airport Authority began renovations in which 20 additional common-use ticket counters, upscale retail and restaurant shops, and new on-airport spa beauty lounge will be added over the next few years. Terminal D has 12 gates and several international lounges, including 2 separate British Airways Galleries lounges, a Lufthansa Senator, a KLM Crown, an Air France, and an executive lounge for Singapore, Emirates, Qatar, and Lufthansa. On June 18, 2014, Houston City Council unanimously passed a memorandum of agreement establishing plans to demolish the existing Terminal D building and construct a new facility on the same site. Plans call for the terminal to have gates for 15 large wide-body jets, including 4 Airbus A380-capable gates, as well as a more open design and modern appearance. Terminal E. Terminal E is IAH's newest terminal, and houses United's international operations and some domestic operations. The terminal was designed by Corgan Associates and Spencer Partnership Architects, and it opened in 2 phases. The first phase opened in 2002 with 14 gates, and the second phase added 16 gates in 2003 for a total of 30. United operates one large, 3-floor, United Club in Terminal E between gates E11 and E12. Originally Continental used the terminal solely for domestic flights, but relocated its international services to the new terminal after the new Federal Inspection Service building opened. The terminal was designed for maximum flexibility, with jetways that were able to handle any aircraft. Currently, all United International mainline flights arrive at Terminal E while all United Express international flights arrive at Terminals D and E, then depart out of Terminal B. In addition to international flights, some larger United domestic mainline flights also operate out of the terminal. Airlines and destinations, top destinations. Other services, Atlas Air offers a thrice-weekly charter service to Luanda, Angola on behalf of Sun Air. Atlas Air replaced World Airways in June 2010. These charter flights are intended to service companies operating in the oil industry in Angola which are members of the U.S. Africa Energy Association. United Airlines offers thrice-daily bus service to Beaumont, Texas, which replaced its air service on July 1, 2012. Terminal transportation. An above-ground train called Tamina Link connects terminals A, B, C, D, E in the International Arrivals Building for those with connecting flights in different terminals and provides sterile airside connections. This allows passengers to travel within the airport without having to re-enter security. Tamina Link has 4 stops, Terminal A, Terminal B, Terminal C, and Terminals D, E including the IAB. The airport has expanded the line to Terminal A at a cost of $100 a million. Construction began on the extension in early 2008 and was completed in 2010. An underground inter-terminal train outside of the sterile zone connects all 5 terminals and the airport hotel which can be accessed by all. This system is based on the Weedway People Mover technology developed by the Walt Disney Company. In addition, United Airlines has started a VIP terminal transportation service for elite status customers, using Mercedes-Benz vehicles. Hotels. The airport houses an on-site hotel, a Marriott, between Terminals B and C and is accessible via the interterminal train. The hotel has 566 rooms, 2 restaurants, a cocktail lounge, a coffee shop and a conference center. Ground transportation. Automobile. From downtown Houston one can travel to George Bush Intercontinental by taking Interstate 69/US. Route 59 to Beltway 8 or to Clayton Parkway, and access the airport from either road. From downtown one could also take Interstate 45, connect to Beltway 8, and enter the airport from the Beltway. The Hardy Toll Road has an exit from the north or south to the airport. Bus, the Metropolitan Transit Authority of Harris County, Texas, or Metro, offers bus service available at the south side of Terminal C. The 102 Bush IAH Express serves the airport. Previously, Metro also operated an express bus service known as Airport Direct, launched in the summer of 2008, which traveled from downtown Houston to Terminal C via the HOV lane of the EastX Freeway/US 59. In 2010, in an effort to increase ridership and maximize revenue, Metro reduced the fare of Airport Direct and closed a dedicated passenger plaza for the service in downtown Houston. Instead, the bus stopped at several downtown hotels. The fare each way was reduced from $15 to $4.50. The fare change increased ridership levels but decreased cash flow. Metro consistently provided the service at an operational loss. However, in the summer of 2011, Metro announced that it was discontinuing the Airport Direct service, while the Route 102 local service continued to operate. Courtesy vans are operated by various hotels and motels in and around the Houston area. There are courtesy telephones in the baggage claim areas to request pickup for most hotels and motels. Shuttle service, regularly scheduled bus and shuttle service is provided by various carriers to locations from IAH to Reliant Park, Reliant Astrodome, downtown Houston, Uptown, Greenway Plaza, the Texas Medical Center, hotels in the West Chase and Energy Corridor business districts, the City of College Station and William P. Hobby Airport. Super Shuttle also provides service from George Bush Intercontinental Airport to the surrounding communities via shared vans. Taxis can be hailed through the ground transportation employees outside each terminal. All destinations within Houston's city limits to from Bush Intercontinental Airport are charged according to the flat zone rate or the meter rate. Within a 15-minute cab ride, one can access Deerbrook Mall in Humble and the Greenspoint Business District. Within a 45-minute cab ride, one can access the Houston Museum District, the Galleria, and the City Arboretum. Taxi drivers at Bush Airport wait longer to be dispatched for pickups of passengers and drivers at other airports in major U.S. cities. Josh Harkinson of the Houston Press said Houston cabbies can easily wait 6 hours. The lives of many taxi drivers working at the airport revolve around the airport's taxi lot, nicknamed Cabbierville. Taxi drivers servicing the airport come from many countries around the world. Artwork. Ed Carpenter's Light Wings, a multicolored glass sculpture suspended below a skylight, adorns the Terminal A North Concourse. In Terminal A, South Concourse stands Terry Allen's Country Music. Allen's piece is a cast bronze tree that plays instrumental music by Joe Ely and David Byrne, though the music is normally turned off. The corridor leading to Terminal A displays Lehman Green's Passing Through, a 200-foot etched glass wall depicting airport travelers. The elevators in Terminal B are cased in stainless steel accordion-shaped structures designed by Rachel Hecker. The corridor leading to Terminal B has Dixie Friend Gay's Houston Bayou. This work is composed of an A2FTA, A75 FT Byzantine glass mosaic mural depicting scenes from Houston's bayous and wetlands, several bronze animals embedded in the floor, and 5 mosaic columns. Light Spikes J. Baker, shown in the photo, was created for the 1990 G7 summit when it was hosted by President George H. W. Bush in Houston. The sculpture was relocated to the airport outside of E-Terminal after the meetings from its original location in front of the George R. Brown Convention Center. The distance between each spike, and this point is relative to the distance between Houston and the capital of the country the flags represent. The countries represented are the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Japan, Canada, Italy and Germany, as well as the European Community, and the columns lean at a 10-degree angle toward a central point that represents Houston. The airport has a display of lighted modern sculptures between Terminals C and D. Cargo. George Bush Intercontinental ranks as the 12th largest gateway in the United States in terms of international air cargo moved. The facility moved 389,075 metric tons of cargo in 2010. In January 2003, the Houston airport system decided to create a new $125 million, 550,000 square feet, called the George Bush Intercontinental Cargo Center. The facility can handle up to 20 wide-body aircraft at one time and has expanded to an operational area of 880,000 sq over the last 5 years. The cargo center has its own separate federal inspection facility that houses Customs, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, United States Department of Agriculture, and Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. The facility also includes the International Air Cargo Center II, a 60,000 sq perishable cargo handling facility. It is located in the IAH Cargo Center and offers direct ramp access for cargo airlines as well as importers and distributors of perishable goods. The center is recognized as an official certified cargo screening facility. For 5 years in a row, Air Cargo Incorporated has honored Bush Intercontinental Airport with the ACE Award for Excellence in the category of airports with less than 500,000 tons of air cargo annually. Trade data, Cargo Airlines, Master Plan. The City of Houston presented its Master Plan update for IAH in 2005. The near-term plan calls for Terminal B's circular flight stations to be rebuilt into linear facilities similar to Terminal A. Construction of a new 155,000 square foot pier at Terminal D, capable of handling 6 additional wide-body aircraft, is slated for completion in 2016. The long-term plans call for the existing unit terminals to be demolished and the north and south concourses to be linked midway. Soon after, all of the facilities in the north and south concourses will be linked together to form 2 long continuous facilities. In addition, a new central passenger processing facility will also be built, called the East Terminal, along with an underground people mover. Airfield improvements include a new runway 8C-26C, a new runway 9 or 27L, a perimeter taxiway, and access roadways. If the FAA selects new sites for runways, the FAA may buy land from the Glen Lee Place and Heather Ridge Village subdivisions, which are located off of Lee Road. Incidents and accidents. The following involved flights departing or arriving at the airport: 1973 National Airlines Flight 27, depressurization ejected a passenger after the fan assembly disintegrated en route to McCarran International Airport. 1975, February 1, Douglas DC-3N15HC of Horizon Properties crashed on approach when the port wing collided with an electricity pylon. The aircraft was on a domestic non-scheduled passenger flight from Lawton Municipal Airport, Oklahoma to Huntsville Regional Airport, Texas. Due to weather conditions, the flight was diverted to Houston. Of the 16 occupants, 2 crew and 3 passengers were killed. 1990, Executive Grumman G1 operated by Rowan Drilling Company, power loss in engine after takeoff resulted in a failed attempt to regain altitude en route to New Orleans International Airport. The aircraft crashed on departure from runway 15L and came to rest midfield along a parallel taxiway. There were 3 fatalities. 1991, Continental Express Flight 2574, broke into pieces en route from Laredo to Houston Intercontinental. There were 14 fatalities. On February 19, 1996, a Continental Airlines McDonnell Douglas DC-9-32 operating as Continental Airlines Flight 1943 from Ronald Reagan National Airport arriving in Houston, Texas landed with its landing gear in the stowed position on runway 27. The aircraft slid for 6,915 feet on its belly before coming to a stop on the runway 140 feet left of the runway center line approximately at the departure end of the runway. There were no fatalities and only minor injuries. The aircraft was written off. On December 20, 2008, a Continental Airlines Boeing 737-500 operating as Flight 1404 from Denver International Airport in Denver, Colorado to Bush Airport overran runway 34R, and caught fire during its takeoff roll. There was no snow or ice on the runway. However, there were 31-knot crosswinds at the time of the accident. On July 13, 2010, the NTSB report stated that the probable cause of this accident was the captain's cessation of right rudder input, which was needed to maintain directional control of the airplane, about 4 seconds before the excursion, when the airplane encountered a strong and gusty crosswind that exceeded the captain's training and experience. Of the 115 people on board, at least 38 sustained injuries, at least 2 of these were injured critically. On May 2, 2013, gunman Colonel Marcus Moore of Beaumont, Texas fired shots from a Glock semi-automatic pistol into the ceiling of a terminal. A Homeland Security officer fired upon and wounded Moore in the right shoulder before Moore shot himself. There was an AR-15 rifle in a suitcase that was not used, while a suicide note was found stating he had a monster within, and he wanted police to stop him before he hurt others. Gallery. See also, World's busiest airports by passenger traffic, references. External links, Houston Airport Sistema Euro Bush Intercontinental Airport, Houston Airport Sistema Euro Houston Airports Today television show, FAA Airport Diagramma, PDF, effective August 21, 2014, resources for this airport, AirNav Airport information for KIAH, ASN accident history for IAH, FlightAware Airport information and live flight tracker, NOAA-NWS latest weather observations, Sky Vector aeronautical chart for KIAH, FAA current IAH delay information.